I'm going to read what's in dispute, what's in question, and you'll see this. It's INA 212F, 8 USC 1182F. Suspension of entry or imposition of restrictions by the president. Okay, now, this isn't just me. This is for Obama, for Ronald Reagan, for the president. And this was done, very importantly, for security, something you people know more about than all of us. It was done for the security of our nation, the security of our citizens, so that people come in who aren't going to do us harm. And that's why it was done. And it couldn't have been written any more precisely. It's not like, oh, gee, we wish it were written better. It was written beautifully. So just listen, here's what it says. This is what they're arguing. Whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens, okay, the entry of any aliens or of any class of aliens, so any aliens, any class of aliens, into the United States. So the entry of people into the United States, let's say, just to be precise, of aliens into the United States. So anytime, whenever the president finds that the entry of any alien or any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, right? So if I find as president that a person or a group of people will be detrimental to the interests of the United States, and certainly there's lots of examples that we have, but you shouldn't even have them necessarily. He may be, and he may, by proclamation, and for such period as he shall deem necessary. Now, the only mistake is they should have said he or she. But hopefully it won't be a she for at least another 7 years. After that, I'm old.
It's a good one.
See? I just noticed that, actually.
It's going to finish up in a minute.
Noticed it. I'm saying, whoa, this is not politically correct. It's correct, but it's not politically correct, you know. This is the old days. He may, by proclamation, and for such period as he shall deem necessary. So here it is. People coming in. Suspend the entry of all aliens, right? That's what it says. It's not like, again, a bad high school student would understand this. Anybody would understand this. Suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens. Okay, so you can suspend the aliens, right? You can suspend the aliens from coming in. Very strong. Or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem to be appropriate. Okay. So you can suspend, you can put restrictions.
That's good. I don't want to take too much time with our guest here, but Philip Haney's our guest. That's Trump like 4 hours ago speaking in D.C. to the Sheriff's Association, National Association of Sheriffs. Whether you agree with this law or not, every other country has basically the same law. It's what a country is that power. It's borders. It's language, it's culture, it's a currency, it's laws. That's a country. It's borders, it's culture, it's language, it's laws, it's currency. 5 things. 5 things. Like a hand. And if you don't have one of those, baby, you don't have a country. And that's what globalism is. It's a bunch of multinationals who've already taken over the third world, using them as a weapon. It's very, very sad. But when I come into the country, they ask, you got any fruits, you got any vegetables? And I'm like, I'm glad they're asking that, because if I brought in something I didn't know that has some type of weevil in it or some bug, it's going to devastate the crops. And they have a right, even though I'm a citizen, to ask me that. And they have rights to ask me other things. But I've come in and literally places in Europe and in Canada, and they just let anybody that's clearly from the third world just in. And if you're from America, 3rd degree. Or you're here for business. No, I'm not. Well, blah, blah, blah. We're going to just turn you back. Go over here for 3 hours and wait. And again, this is the whole liberalism, which isn't liberalism, the globalism of it. But But regardless, you've got failed countries like Sudan and Libya and all these nations imploding with Islamic Jihad taking them over, and then they barely have working airports, and they're saying just bring them into this country. In the last 5-6 minutes we have with our guest, Philip Haney, you need to get his book. We don't sell it. I think we did for a while. We should sell it at InfoWarsStore.com. I mean, I read it. I read it in 2 days, and I knew a lot. So I read news all day. But when it came out a year ago or so, see something, say nothing, Philip Haney and Art Moore, a Homeland Security officer exposes the government's submission to jihad. Man, it's like it took me to a whole nother level. And so when I looked at what Trump was saying and the media just, I mean, let me ask you this, Philip. What is it like to see them acting like he did something outrageous when he didn't even do as much as Obama did? He bombed 4 of these countries when he was banning them coming in. I mean, it's just crazy to see them criticize the president, but then also out of the other side of their mouth go, well, look, he's using a law Obama used, so see, he's copying Obama. He says Obama's bad, but he's copying him, but then he's still bad because he's doing it. Are they preying on the public's ignorance of the law? What do you think the agenda here is?